but when he was ready to speak, his voice would be deep and sure. Bran and Squalorn sniffed out the bed in the bracken where the deer had lain. Some of the animal's warmth lingered in the flattened ferns. Circling 3 times, the hounds remade the bed to suit themselves, and curled up together. Squalorn rested her muzzle on her crossed forepaws, but her companion's head was propped across her back, so Bran could keep watchful eyes on Finn. The cry of wild geese rang through the sky. Looking up, Finn saw black wings carving lines in silver space. He nodded. The poem was complete. He recited: "Here's my tale. Stag cries, winter snarls, summer dies. High and cold the wind, low and dull the sun, and brief its run. Strong surge the seas. In red-brown bracken shapes lie hidden. Geese sing, fleeing, south, ice on wings. That's my tale." When Finn stopped speaking, Don said, "Brrr! That's made me colder than I was already." The poet smiled, flattered. "Winter snarls," quoted Fergus. "A particularly nice bit, that." His mouth worked, savouring the words. "It's a grand poem entirely," Queeltae affirmed, "but it won't fill our bellies. Words are no substitute for a haunch of venison, or a fine silver salmon with the smell of the sea on him." "I'd give my good eye for some badger meat-dripping grease," sighed the husky voice of Gol Macmorna. Lugard suggested hopefully, "We could still bring down that stag. The hounds could track him." "Leave him be," Finn ordered sharply, unwilling to have the source of his inspiration slain. "We'll find something else. We always do." He brandished his spear and whistled. Bran and Squalorn jumped up and ran to him, wriggling with the exuberance of half-grown hounds. The hunt resumed. Except for Gol Macmorna, all of them were young and exuberant, brimming with barely controlled energy. They had unblunted features and blue-white eyeballs, and had only recently begun growing warriors' moustaches. They were brash and merry, and thought themselves immortal. Searching the slopes of Blackhead, the Fianna poked spears into every crevice and hollow, seeking to flush out small game hares or red squirrels, or even the half-mouthful of a pygmy shrew. They laughed and swore and shoved each other. They traded insults until the crisp air crackled. Cale challenged his friend. "If you can put one foot in front of the other, I'll race you to the bottom." "Done!" cried Madden Bentneck, who owed his permanently cocked head-carriage to a slight deformity. He wore the round shield slung across his back, higher than his companions did, to conceal the unevenness of his shoulders. Physical beauty was not required of a Fennid. Only strength and courage mattered in battle. The two bounded away in exaggerated leaps. Gol said disapprovingly, "Those young fools'll kill themselves, running headlong on that footing." Finn flashed a merry grin. "Then that's 2 less we'll have to find game for. Think of the effort saved." Gol chuckled. One of his eyes twinkled. The other was milky, bisected by a slashing scar that puckered cheek and brow. "It's Conan who'll be the most grateful. He's the laziest." But in spite of Gol's prediction, Cale and Madden reached the bottom without mishap. They turned and trotted back up at a more leisurely pace, watching their footing. By the time they rejoined their companions halfway up Blackhead, they were breathing hard, however. Queeltae said scornfully, "Neither of you knows how to run." He pulled his wolf-fur cloak out from under his shield, and tossed it aside, revealing a body as thin as a sapling, clad in a leather kilt and a deerskin tunic. "Mind you, this is what running is," he said. He raced off down the mountain, his shield bouncing against his shoulder-blades. In a voice like thick cream, Fergus Honeytongue remarked, "Queeltae Macronan."